Hello, everyone. Nubkeks here, and welcome back to actually Rubnades. We're Rubnades today because we are on the test server. Thank you to Plarium as always, and we have 4 new champions coming in the patch. And spicy thing, no mythical champion in this batch. That raises some eyebrows, doesn't it? It's the first time in a long time no mythical at all. In fact, there's been double mythicals in many patches before. I guess when they did the Asgard champions, I think they put Ashnar. I think they put Ashnar out alongside the Asgards. I could be wrong. I could be. But yeah, no new mythical. Does this mean there's a mythical fusion coming? Or who the heck knows? I don't know. Let me know your wild speculation in the comments below. But let's dive in. Let's take a look at the new champion. Sorry, Mesamel's not new. Just a red dot from the test server. Let's go into the Orcs. We have 2 red dots right beside each other. It's the new faction Unity. That is not on hold. It's Aragaz Wild King, a legendary HP-based champion for the Orcs. Fairly standard stats. And looks cool. Yeah, you know what? Looking at him. Weapon is cool. I think at the bottom half of him is cool. The shield is cool. The banner is cool. I'm not sure about the helmet and shoulders. I mean, it's a unique look. I don't know. When I think about like the chief of the Orcs, right? One of the most iconic factions almost for like a faction Unity, right? I don't know, he's just not wowing me visually. It's not like, oh yeah, that guy, leader of the Orcs. It doesn't do that for me. I think Ashnar does that, but not maybe in Form 1. I think like Form 2 Ashnar, absolutely dreadful form, but this guy, at least he looks freaking sick. He looks cool. He looks really cool. You know, Warlord, sort of an older model, but Warlord looks cool. Warlord looks cool. I'm not so convinced by old Aragaz. There's just something about it. I don't know. I feel like he needs like big horns or something to make him pop a bit more. There are my thoughts on it. Maybe he'll grow on me. Let me know. Maybe you guys love him. I do like that he has sort of a tiger skin thing going on with his skin. That's actually pretty. Anyway, let's take a look at his kit. Let's look at the auras and the passives first. I think this is a new thing I'm going to do moving forwards because passives are so impactful on champions. Oh, by the way, I just saw this. The faction unity thing around his feet, that looks cool. The orc faction unity glow, that's super badass. His aura, though, ally defense 33% in all battles and 25 HP, 25% HP for orcs. That's actually really good aura. 33% defense all battles is just really good by itself. And then the orc thing on top is actually really nice. So his passive, underdogs, 1 turn cooldown. Allies, very strange. Allies with 50% or less HP do 30% more damage. Now that is absolutely broken, right? If you can build like an unkillable team and get people low on life, 30% more damage is ludicrous. But it has a 1 turn cooldown. That's very strange. So like you drop below half HP, 1 person attacks, and then it goes on cooldown until he takes another turn. That's my understanding of it. So you get 1 attack from the first attack from an ally with less than 50. Like you could have, I don't know, let's say like a Duchess Lilitu drop below half HP, do an A1, and it will put this passive on cooldown. I'm pretty sure is how it works. So that's a bit of a question mark. Potentially broken, but I think the cooldown makes it awkward to use. And it's also difficult to build unkillable teams for places. Anyway, 1 faction ally. Allies with 50% or less HP receive 30% less damage. I wonder if this has a cooldown as well, or is like, does this just work? It's very unclear. 2 faction allies. Whenever an ally or enemy dies, increases the HP, attack, defense, and speed of all allies by 5% up to 25%. Okay, that is sick. That's really cool. And 3 faction allies. Whenever an ally kills an enemy, grants that ally an instant turn once per ally per round. So like in an arena fight, it can happen once. Yeah. Honestly, so I'm assuming that none of these parts have a cooldown. That's actually really strong. I mean, if this thing doesn't have it, if this is a bug, if there's no cooldown to any of this, it's actually an insane passive. But low HP, less damage is good. This stacking stats is actually really good. It doesn't work against Hydra because they never die, but very, very strong otherwise. An instant turn whenever you kill an enemy, great. Good passive, honestly. Question mark about the cooldown, but this has big potential. Wild King Polearm attacks 1 enemy, heals all allies with less than 50% HP back to 50% of their max HP. I don't think we have anything like this in the game. That's nuts. He just brings everyone back to half HP. I wonder, does being exactly at 50%, does that count? Oh yeah, with 50% or less. With it or less. So you would be benefiting from these things. I wonder if you gave him masteries to make him heal more, would it push you too far? I don't know. 30% damage from books as well. Like maybe this guy is actually going to be an attacker. Sacrificial Ploy. 4 goes to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks 1 ally. Attacks 1 ally. Oh, wow. That's totally unique. Oh, my God. Yeah, there's Valkanen. He can kill one of your team. But wow, this is very unique. The damage dealt is equal to 50% of the target's current HP. Then puts a shield on that ally for 2 turns. Value of the shield is equal to the amount of HP the ally is missing, and fills their turn meter by an amount equal to the HP percent they're missing. Finally fills this champion's turn meter by the same amount. So you smack your own ally, take a big chunk off their HP, replace it with a big shield. In fact, it could be bigger. Give them a huge chunk of turn meter, and also gives him a chunk of turn meter, and potentially pushes them into this. Like, immediately I'm thinking Garol. Garol form 2, damage increases as their HP decreases. So that's a very strong combo. You smack Garol, lower her HP, give her a big shield, give her turn meter, and give our boy Aragaz a bunch of turn meter as well. Okay, that's kind of a strong combo. Interesting. And Hackle of Blades is the other faction unity skill. 4-turn cooldown. Another 30% damage from books, and it goes to a 3-turn. Attacks all enemies. Has a 100% chance of placing Provoke on all enemies, and puts Strengthen on all allies for 2 turns. Very interesting, chat. We'll read this other stuff in a second, but you're getting a lot of turn meter here. So, like, smack your own teammate. You've got a big AoE. You're probably building him for damage, judging from these 30% damage boosts. So he's going to be like a damage-dealing HP champion that's boosting his turn meter and beating up his own team. It's bizarre. Bizarre. Okay, the faction unity here. 1 faction ally. This champion is immune to block active skill debuffs and cooldown increasing effects. That's very nice. That's very good. So you can come in and AoE provoke enemies with a strengthen to keep your team alive, even when they try to lock you out. So a way to fight back against lockout. Pretty nice. 2 faction allies. Instantly activates this skill whenever an ally's HP drops below 50%. Instantly activating this skill will not place it on cooldown. Does this happen like every time? So like, if they nuke my whole team and 4 people drop below 50%, does he fire this off 4 times? Maybe. When he smacks an ally, when he does his A2, does he just get... he probably just gets to cast his A3 for free. Smack an ally. They go below 50% HP. He gets to instantly A3 for free as well. This is potentially absolutely bonkers. Bonkers. 3 faction allies. Provoke debuffs placed by this skill cannot be resisted. That is nice, because then you don't need to build him for accuracy. Irresistible provoke, and he can be just spam. I believe he can just spam this skill like crazy. Okay, this guy is really interesting. He's really weird, and I love it. So it seems like he's more of a go second type champion. He seems like a strong combo with Garol, maybe with Ashar as well. I'm not sure who else he's going to combo with in the faction. Sort of resistant somewhat to lockout. Smack your own teammates. Keep firing off this A3. Provoke enemies that are vulnerable to provoke. Yeah, bizarre. Really bizarre. Oh, wow. This guy's nuts. And heal your team back up with this A1 to half HP. Bizarre champion. Is there any unkillable? I don't think there is an unkillable with the legendaries in the faction. But if you ever see unkillable buffs for orcs in the future, it could be very strong. Orcs are also rather lacking on buff strips, actually. Yeah, I don't think they've got... Off the top of my head, I'm not seeing anyone that's good at doing a buff strip. So that's a problem as well. But yeah, potentially very good for Garol. Interesting. Very interesting champion. Yeah, that's a wacky one for sure. Okay, let's look at not Nogdar. What's her name? Matriarch Zarguna. Oh wow. Wow, that's quite a look right there. Don't tell her she's ugly or she'll eat you. the hell? Oh, man. She could be in the Ogren tribes, boys. All right. Matriarch Zarguna, HP champion. Decent speed, all the rest. Let's do the same thing. Aura passive. Ally HP 30% all battles, right? Standard, decent. Refuge from pain. Allies under shield receive 10% less damage. Okay. That could be actually kind of busted with like Wixwell teams. Build up a even bigger shield. Interesting. Battle Thrum. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Heal this champion by 5% max HP after each hit. Each hit also has a 25 that goes to 40% of placing Provoke for 1 turn. I mean, like, Wixwell A1 is insane. It's 2 100% chances, 2 40% chances. It's okay, but you're not going to rely on that for, like, Hyter or something. But healing herself up, low chance to provoke. Okay. Clan Mother. She does look a bit like War Mother. 5 turn, goes to a 4 turn cooldown. Oh, Taunt Champion. Decrease the duration of all ally debuffs by 1 turn. Okay. Puts continuous heal on all allies for 2 turns and puts Taunt and Unkillable on this champion for 2 turns. So she could, like, Mischief tank a bit, do a sort of mini cleanse. Taunt is definitely useful for Shogun and stuff like that. All right, so, like, another Taunt champ. These Taunt champions tend to be kind of only okay. Sort of my vibe, apart from Emek, who's really good. Maternal Force, and what, doesn't Gizmak? I think Gizmak is a Taunt. Maternal Force, 5 turn, goes to a 3 turn cooldown. Got a 4 turn Taunt and a 3 turn AoE attack. AoE attack puts a shield on all allies equal to 25% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns. Whenever a shield buff placed by this champion expires or is removed by damage, heals that ally by 15% max HP and puts strengthen on them for 1 turn. Okay. It actually looks pretty decent, like a good protector. Probably like a mid-game arena monster, right? Mid-game arena, put her in, probably build her high HP, give her 100% crit rate. She'll be doing some decent damage, giving your teammate a big shield. Take less damage when you're shielded. When the shield breaks, get a heal, get a strengthen. She can taunt and unkillable, heal them up, continuous heal, heals herself. Okay, I mean, she's not like a WoW endgame crazy champion, but she seems like a very solid progression champion, honestly. Probably very good for like faction wars and Cursed City as well. Orcs are quite lacking in good supports, so she's a nice support for the Orcs. Like, you don't have Raka. I mean, it's kind of rough. Like, oftentimes you're relying on Vrask, you know, to heal you up. She might be quite good for that. So, okay, seems okay. Seems okay. Next up, we've got the Shadowkin. We've got a new Void Legendary. Onryo Ieyasu. Onryo Ieyasu. Look at this guy. Okay, this guy looks like a clown. What is going on? Oh my god. This guy looks so ridiculous. Wait. Yeah, he's got a bow on his back. Okay, cool. But he's fighting with like a little... I don't know what they're called. Like, are they tantos or something? I don't know. Like a little mini Japanese knife. Basically, big knife, big dagger. Japanese dagger. He's got another one up. He's got one in his mouth as well, of course. Looks kind of weird. He also seems to have like a human hand, but he looks like... He's got human hands, but he's got a weird ghost face. I guess it's just a mask. Very weird. I can't wait to read the lore on this guy. You know, you got really cool Void Legendaries in the game, and then you got this dude. Looks like a bit of a clown, and he's coming with a dagger. Good for him, I guess. High base attack. He's an attack-based guy. He's going to be big damage dealer. Attack in arena, 35%, right? So probably an arena champion. Onryo's duty. Whenever this champion attacks, all enemies except the initial target receive damage equal to 25%. Ooh, of the damage dealt to the initial target. So it's like an uber hex debuff. Uber permanent hex debuff. This extra damage ignores 100% enemy's defense, cannot be critical, does not count as a hit. Yeah, so he's got like a super duper hex debuff built into his kit and be very strong with AoEs. AoE hex is usually only 2%. It's 10% single target. This guy's doing just 25%, so... Yeah, it's sort of like baked in super hex. Super hex. Okay, let's go for this A1. Exorcism Cutter. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Extra hit if the target's under a buff. 2 extra hits if the target's under a buff and is from the Undead Hordes faction. Extra turn if he kills an enemy occurs once per skill. 30% damage is a lot of damage. So double hitter. Triple hitter if they have a buff. That's likely in arena. 4 hits if they're from Undead Hordes. I mean, there's a lot of good Undead Hordes for arena. Thiefy is a big one. Necret somewhat. Rotus, he'll rip through a Rotus. Ultimate Death Knight is common. I mean, we are going to be due fairly soon, actually, an Undead Horde faction Unity champion. They're due a good mythical at some point as well, so expect a resurgence of Undead Hordes. He'll be good against that. Okay, it's interesting. Violent Purification. 4-turn goes to a 3-turn cooldown, 20% damage. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Before each hit, destroys the target's max HP by 10%, stacking up to 50. Does not work against bosses. That's a bummer. Scarab boss, you survive. This might make him bad against a Rotus. That's kind of annoying, actually. I think if you destroy Rotus max HP, I don't know with the Rotus passive how exactly. This might be kind of awkward. I don't know. Damage inflicted by this skill increases by 10% for each buff and debuff on the target, up to 100%. If a target's killed by this skill, places block revive. This guy is interesting so far. Like, you go up against a buff-heavy team, triple hit A1 that can give him extra turn, damage scaling, block revive, double hit, single target move. Very, very, very similar to Narcisse. This could actually be very strong as well. Yeah, okay, that's cool. And destroying their max HP is interesting as well. Okay, Final Vengeance, 3-turn cooldown, no AoEs. Attacks one enemy 2 times, ignores 50% defense, as well as Stone Skin, Shield, and Strengthen. So you still have to get past ally protection, increased defense. I guess they're the only other ones. Yeah, so ignoring most of the defensive buffs. But yeah, Stone Skin ignore. Okay, this guy is pretty cool. So block revive, and ignore Stone Skin attack. Hopefully this hits really. I mean, it ignores 50% defense. This is probably gonna clap. So quite potentially delete somebody under Stone Skin. Extra turns here. Yeah, this guy's interesting. Interesting. And potentially doing a monstrous amount of AoE damage. I keep killing their squishy characters, and you're splashing. Okay, this guy's actually sick. I think he's very cool. I'm excited to see him. He's very squishy. He has nothing to keep himself alive. But I think with an aggressive speed team, and like you put him in, like, I'm thinking, yeah, you could put him in with like a Lady Mikage. That's a sick combo. Him plus Mikage is actually really, really strong. Ooh, I guess for Hydra and Clan Boss, it only is going to do the double hit. You're not going to get the triple or the quad. But in Arena, him plus Mikage kind of busted. Shuzen, same faction for Siege. Very, very strong. Yeah, okay. This guy's got a lot of potential. I'm curious how hard he hits. Yeah, he's super squishy, but for like a really aggressive speed team, yeah, going all out, he could actually be kind of a monster. Interested to see. And finally, Sylvan Watchers, Quilcha, the Ash Arrow. Yeah. So Quilcha is the Irish word for forest. It's not spelt like that, but it's the Irish word for forest, I think. So that makes sense. But he's on fire. Yeah, he looks sick, actually. He's cool. Cool. I like the design. Fiery, Brilliant, Dryad kind of guy. No, yeah, looks great. Really like the design. Attack-based champion. Standard enough stats. That's, oh yeah, we'll do our thing. Attack in all battles, 30%. Corrupted Sentinel, the passive. So passively, whenever this champion or an ally's turn meter is decreased, increases the damage of his next attack by 20% up to 100%. That's fun. Wow, this will wreck Ancora. Ancora, when she does a revive, pushes everyone's turn meter back a little bit. This guy's like, you just revived, let me destroy. Active effect, 5-turn cooldown. Whenever this champion's turn meter drops below 25%, because of a turn meter reduction effect, puts block debuffs on him for 2 turns, gives him an extra turn. Yo, okay. Hang on a minute. Okay. Attacks all enemies, steals turn meter, places stun. How will that interact? This is looking to me like, where is he? Here Arman's counter? Like a hard counter to Arman's? They use Arman's. They steal everyone's turn meter. I wonder how that interacts. So Arman steals all his turn meter. This guy gets block debuffs and an extra turn instantly. So Arman steals everyone's turn meter, is not able to stun this guy, and then he just gets a turn straight away. So he can just straight up kill Arman's, no problem, and potentially nuke Arman's team as well. And yeah, if he steals like your whole team's turn meter, this dude's going to be getting 80% more damage. I hope that's how it works. This, to me, looks like a hard Arman's counter, and he's just a magic legendary. That's bonkers. We'll see the rest of his kit. I wouldn't be shocked if they did a guaranteed for this. What are you saying? Guaranteed champion for Quilcha, the Ash Arrow. Just be like, you guys want to counter Armans? Buy some shards, baby. Like how they did a guaranteed Narcisse to counter Taras Marishka. What are we saying? Yeah, I kind of... Well, let's take a look. Ash Arrow attacks one enemy. Increase crit damage on this champion for 2 turns. Cool, okay. Falling Leaves. 5 turn goes to a 4 turn cooldown. Attacks one enemy 2 times. If the initial target is killed, also attacks the enemy with the lowest HP. Does it repeat the full attack? Both attacks ignore 50% of the target's defense, as well as unkillable and block damage. Yo, that is spicy. Oh, shit. So, Arman steals all your turn meter. You just murder Armans easily, one-shot him, and then potentially one-shot their damage dealer as well, if it's not a HP-based damage dealer. Now, they could be on Stone Skin. That's a problem, for sure. So if Armans is really fast and the rest of the team's in Stone Skin, he's not much good. Unless this ignores... No, it doesn't ignore Stone Skin. Let's take a look. Potentially, though, very, very cool. Also, this is unkillable block damage ignore. That's really nice as well. That gives you a way to fight back against a bunch of champions. Torrential Pain. 4 goes to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies. Each critical hit fills this champion's turn meter by 10% and heals him by 10% max HP up to 50%. If he kills an enemy, puts unkillable on him for 1 turn. That's kind of nice as well. Yeah, this guy seems... I mean, in Arena, Armans could just polymorph him, and then, like, you know, he's your damage dealer. So unless you pick 3 damage dealers, like, yeah, or they're forced to ban something else. Like, if you pick 2 damage dealers, they could ban one of them, and then Armans could polymorph him, and he's doing nothing. But this seems like a massive counter against Armans, if that is true. Potentially very, very, very good. Really good, in fact. Yeah, and big single target nuke. Looks like a solid AoE. Unkillable is nice. Self-buffs a little bit. Yeah, this dude seems good. Not crazy OP. He's just like, okay, good damage dealer. But this is the thing that's special. If it works, as I hope it works. Yeah, it seems like just, you know, standard damage dealer with a hard Armans counter tacked onto a passive, really. But there we go. Let me know what you think of these new champions. Quilcha is definitely the one I'm most interested to see because of the Armans thing. Who else did we have? No, it wasn't Undead. It was a counter Undead. We had Iyasu. Looks like a clown, but could be a monstrous single target damage dealer. Very aggressive attack-based damage dealer with an interesting passive, splash damage. And yeah, the Orcs. Your Mama and the faction unity for Orcs. Actually, you know what? Like, she's kind of generic, just solid but generic. The other 3 champions are all actually pretty interesting to see how they actually work in practice. So we will see what we can do. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Let me know which of these champions you'd like to see showcases on first, if any. And I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.